Happy Wednesday, Paul Hadley Middle School. It is Wednesday. I don't know what day it is. It is Wednesday, April 15th, 2020, and this is your daily video announcement. I hope that you are having an enjoyable experience with your e-learning. I hope that the things that we've been doing in language arts have been meaningful in some way. If not, I want you to give me some feedback. Message me through Canvas. I want to give you a few heads up about a few things before we get into the e-learning aspect of what you're actually going to do today. Daily reminders. Number 1, take your attendance quiz. Number 2, do your assignment. Number 3, go ahead and move on to another class. In terms of attendance, there is something that you need to be aware of. Because e-learning days were made initially for snow days, we've had to change some of the things that we've been doing, one of which is taking attendance in Skyward. So we are going to be updating Skyward's attendance, and you need to make sure that you have gone back and either done your attendance quiz or done an assignment for every day that we've had e-learning. Otherwise, you're going to be marked absent. Those absences add up over time. So make sure that you are being marked as present in class on a daily basis through e-learning. Number 2, today's assignment is going to be a short story that should take you about 15 minutes to read. So after you get done listening to me ramble for a little bit, go ahead and read for about 15 minutes, and then you're going to have 5 questions to answer. One of those is going to be a question about the stuff that I'm going to be talking about in this video. So you have to make sure that you pay attention to this video in order to answer all the questions. Now, what do you need to know about the assignment material before you start reading this short story? Well, the author of the short story is Ray Bradbury. The title of the short story is No News or What Killed the Dog. This is a short story about another story that was written. It's kind of weird. There's reference to the other story that was written within this short story. It's a comedy piece, and you'll learn about it when you read the story. But Ray Bradbury was writing in response to another story when he was writing this short story. So there is a little bit of reference to comedy in this short story, although this short story has very little comedy at all in it. Ray Bradbury wrote a lot of different stories. We have read a few of them in class. Dark They Were and Golden Eyed. Advanced read Fahrenheit 451. The Martian Chronicles was also a really big thing that he became widely popular for. I'm pretty sure those were made into those radio programs that we listened to in class at one point first semester. He is a descendant of Mary Bradbury. Now, I say that only because it doesn't really have huge significance in the short story, but Mary Bradbury was a woman who was tried at the Salem witch trials in 1692. I thought that was an interesting piece of history that I thought maybe some of you would actually get a kick out of. He had some major influences in his writing life. H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, and Edgar Allan Poe were 3 of the biggest. Those are all classic science fiction writers or horror writers. Ray Bradbury was very science fiction / horror in his writing. You can see the influences. He wasn't necessarily a horror writer, but he was definitely a science fiction writer. But horror did play kind of into the way he did storytelling. He tried to imitate Poe until he was about 18 years old, and so that's why you see elements of horror in a lot of the things that he writes. Ray Bradbury identified with Jules Verne, who wrote 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which is a really interesting novel. It's a very landmark novel for science fiction. Super old, super long. It is worth reading, though. It's been adapted into tons of different kinds of stories. Like it's been produced into movies, and it has been adapted into plays and things like that. So it's worth taking your time to look at. But one of the things that he identified with Jules Verne's, Ray Bradbury said, that he believes the human being is in a strange situation in a very strange world, and he believes that we can triumph by behaving morally. And that's one of the things that you're going to be looking at today in today's short story. Behaving morally equals triumphing in a strange situation. Okay, so behaving morally is a key concept. Something else that he looked at very critically, he knew a guy named Robert Heinlein, who is another author and influenced Bradbury significantly. Bradbury said, this is a quote from him, "He was well known and he wrote humanistic science fiction, which influenced me to dare to be human instead of mechanical." And so in his short stories or his novels, he's looking at ways to look at the human experience and look at it from a human point of view, making sure that everybody in his story has that human element to the character, so it makes it more relatable. Next, Ray Bradbury died in LA, Los Angeles, California, June 5th, 2012, at the age of 91. So he actually was alive very, very recently. The last time he published anything was in 2006. So this isn't like one of those really old writers that we have seen from like years and years ago that don't have any sort of concept of modern technology or the modern age, but he did write prior to all of this new technology that we take for granted on a daily basis. The New York Times called Ray Bradbury the writer most responsible for bringing modern science fiction into the literary mainstream. Ray Bradbury is super important for science fiction. I love science fiction. I love science fiction movies and science fiction novels. A lot of times dystopian literature is all science fiction, and it just brings me a lot of joy in order when I go and read something like that, or I watch a movie, or I watch a TV show that has those elements. And a lot of times Ray Bradbury is an author that other authors reference. He's an important author that you need to know about. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you for listening to this. Go ahead and read the short story, No News, or What Killed the Dog, and then do the assignment attached to it. If you have questions, message me through Canvas, or you can email me through your Gmail account, and then I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope that you have a fantastic week. I will see you tomorrow.